I've worked with dozens and dozens of families who have relocated here to Pittsburgh, and 90% of the time they come in thinking they want one thing, but end up falling in love with an area that they never even thought of. So in this video, I'm breaking down where families in Pittsburgh can find the best community life, schools, safety, proximity to amenities, and long-term home value. And this isn't going to be your typical moving to suburbs advice and the typical suburbs that you probably read about all online. I'm actually going to go very in depth about each suburb, what it could offer you, and we'll be comparing cities, suburbs, and semi-rural living so that you could leave this video and know exactly where your family is going to actually thrive here in Pittsburgh. We will discuss the differences between these areas, the school districts, what you get for your money, what options there is for housing in terms of building and existing inventory, how to avoid making the wrong move, and the exact factors that will help you narrow down the search to find that perfect area, because with all of our options, it gets super overwhelming. So let's get started. Section 1, we're going to talk about the urban city living and what that typically looks like if you're coming with a family, because a lot of families tend to go to our suburbs because this is where you're going to see the higher rated public schools and just parks, quietness, and communities that typically families are looking for. But we do have families that sometimes want to live in the city. And a lot of times I recommend for those families to check out the private schools in those areas, just because any family I've moved into the city typically look more into the private options compared to Pittsburgh public districts. And that's just from personal preference. So if you are looking to live in the city with a family, there's only really a few areas I'd recommend where you're going to get like yard space, driveways, walkability, parks nearby. And the first one is going to be Squirrel Hill. The average home price really starts around $450 all the way up to like the $750,000 mark. And you do have private schools in this area. So you have like Shadyside Academy, Community Day, and a few others, which we could always get more information for you if you reach out directly to us. But what's nice about this area is you have large driveways, you have parks nearby such as Frick Park, Shenley Park, and like different attractions like Phipps Conservatory. You have nice grocery options and so much to do along Murray and Forbes Avenue, where you could conveniently go to Giant Eagle to pick up your everyday needs, go get your kid a haircut, grab some ice cream, grab some lunch. It's very compact, it's very walkable, and it's very integrated, friendly, and it's our largest neighborhood, so it's very diverse. It's just a very welcoming environment, especially for a city neighborhood. And because you have so many universities nearby, this is definitely an academic forward area where you have a lot of students, but also a lot of like professionals, professors, people that work at the library. You have Carnegie Library right on Forbes Avenue. And I would say the students here aren't the rowdy type. There's not many nighttime places to go out in Squirrel Hill. That's more of like South Side, but you're going to get more of the people that are serious in their studies and are good, quiet students. Buyers typically like this area if they are looking for those elite private schools, space to park and have a yard, but also people who want walkability. This is at the top of their list. And the convenience is really an added benefit. I literally just worked with a family who was actually relocating from Boston, and they were sold on the suburbs because of the public school districts. They didn't even consider the city options, but once they got into Pittsburgh for the first time and actually took like a tour of the area, they loved the Squirrel Hill area, and that's when they actually started looking into the private school options and realized that was actually a better fit for them than driving into the city. They'd rather just live in the city, rely on that great district, and still have an environment where their kids could play outside, walk to go get ice cream, and really the convenience factor. There's not much walkability in our suburb. They love the environment of the walkability, the parks, and really having everything nearby so they could spend more time with their kids instead of having to go in the car and drive everywhere. Another city neighborhood I would recommend for families would be Shadyside. So this is going to be more expensive, so you want to keep that in mind, but you're going to have the same benefits of larger lot sizes, driveways, walkability. You're going to have like Trader Joe's, Whole Foods nearby, Giant Eagle, Aldi, so tons of groceries, very convenient area, lots of different cafes. And you have the same parks nearby, Frick Park, Shenley Park, Mellon Park, and even like some baseball fields and different things like that. So it's really good for the kids again. And you are near the Ellis School and Shadyside Academy. So these are the private options that families typically choose over the public schools. The walkability is a huge driver for this area, and typically buyers like this area for like the elegance, the amazing real estate options, and having quick city access again. So if you guys work in the city and you want to live in the city, these are two amazing options to raise your kids in. And another one that's right nearby is going to be Point Breeze. So this is actually like on the border of Frick Park. I actually had clients move to a street where Frick Park is their backyard. So they literally wake up, go on a hike, and don't even have to hop in the car, which is the beauty of some of our city neighborhoods and just Pittsburgh in general being so integrated with nature. So this is great for people who want that more residential feeling. They don't necessarily want to be in the midst of the businesses, but they want to have them nearby. Really feels like a residential neighborhood. And again, you kind of have the same private options as this is right next to Shadyside and Squirrel Hill. Prices are a bit more affordable than Shadyside and a bit more comparable to Squirrel Hill. So typically you're looking at around $400,000 to $700,000. And out of all of the families I've moved to Pittsburgh, only a slim amount of them have actually chose to live in the city. A lot of them love our suburbs because we have dozens of different options in our suburbs that really offer a wide amount of school programs that are very highly rated. So we're going to talk about the main areas I see families loving, enjoying, and the differences between them all. So if you're at all familiar with Pittsburgh, you probably know about our North Hills and our South Hills. These are the two most requested suburb sections, especially for people relocating. And to touch on the South Hills, these were our trolley suburbs, so everything is more compact. You do have the T station, which takes you into downtown, so commuting could be a breeze if you're not driving. And you do have neighborhoods that are more walkable. You have older housing inventory, and things are a bit more congested than the North Hills, but they also have more character. And one of the most well-known neighborhoods that I spend so much time in, help so many people move to, and have clients under contract right now to purchase homes in because they're starting families is going to be Mount Lebanon. The average home price here is really from the $350,000 range up to past the millions, but I would say on average $350,000 to $750,000. And you have the top rated school district, Mount Lebanon, with Blue Ribbon Awards, and all of the elementary schools are also very highly rated. One thing that is different about this area is they do not have bus transportation because of the rent-a-grade law that they have in place. So they do have private districts in this area as well, but you will have to rely on carpooling or being close to the schools for your kids to walk. And what's really great and different about this area is it's super walkable for a suburb. Mainly our suburbs are not walkable, they're very car dependent, but being that this is in the South Hills and has sidewalks throughout, has different business districts, it is one of our most walkable suburbs, and it's also super charming. So you have beautiful architecture, tree-lined streets. We actually have a full vlog tour on Mount Lebanon that I will link in the description below so you could check more out about this area. But you have really cool amenities like farmers markets, ice rinks. The school district is very well known for their sports, their academics, and all of their after-school curricular activities. You have nice shops like Uptown, and then you have Beverly Road, which has like cafes, different boutiques, coffee shops, and things along that line. And it's perfect for the kids because, of course, there's ice cream and they always host different events, especially during the holidays. You also have a lot of parks in this area. Some of the most famous ones are Bird Park and the Mount Lebanon Park. People moving to this area typically are moving here because of the walkable suburb factor, but also the strong school factor. So you're going to see a ton of families, a ton of kids of all different ages, and you're only about 15 to 20 minutes away from the city. So people that commute into the city for work, this is also a big factor that drives people to this area because it honestly checks a lot of boxes. But if you do want to live in the South Hills, but you want some more yard space, maybe you don't want things to be as tight and condensed, and maybe you're not even concerned about walkability, then a different area that's only about 5 to 10 minutes away from Mount Lebanon is going to be Upper St. Clair. Home prices here are a little more expensive, and one thing to note is taxes in Mount Lebanon and Upper St. Clair are expensive as well. Now, we could give you a complete breakdown on taxes, what you could expect if you reach out to us. Our contact information will be in the description below, also up here on the screen. But these taxes could really raise your monthly mortgage payment. But it is a trade-off because the school districts are definitely highly proclaimed, and that's a big reason why the taxes are a bit higher, but also just the maintenance, the community, and how on top of everything they are. So a lot of people see it as worth it, and I would say it definitely is as well. But Upper St. Clair, you're going to have all of the amenities of the South Hills that are so well known, such as the South Hills Village Mall, the Galleria, you have your Whole Foods, wine bars, different nice restaurants like the Porch and like the fish market. And you also have quick access to Mount Lebanon if you wanted more of the mom and pop feel shops, but these are more going to be bigger retail in the Upper St. Clair area. And you do have a country club here, you have parks nearby, and the school really focuses on like a strong sports culture. So you do have like indoor sports places nearby, and you have Boyce Mayview Park close by, along with lots of different hiking trails in this area. And so if you want like a very strong academic experience, because this is one of the best in the South Hills, and you also want more space, maybe a lot of yard space, but also being very close to amenities, this is where you want to go. But I would say if you enjoy everything that those two have to offer, but you're looking for something that maybe fits the budget a little bit more and doesn't have as high of taxes, then Bethel Park is going to be your fit. This is an area that's right in the midst of all of the South Hills Village shopping, and also has quick access to these areas, different parks, but has more affordable real estate options, which makes it more prime for people starting a family, first-time buyers, or just families in general, because the school district is also a blue ribbon district with a strong focus on sports and academics. You have South Park nearby, which is a huge park, lots of walking trails and recreation centers. So it's really known for its affordability and quick access to everything in the South Hills. And you're about 25 minutes away from downtown, so just a little bit further. So if you want value, strong community, and a wide array of different real estate options, Bethel Park will be one to keep on your radar, and it's definitely one that I recommend. And say you want something that's kind of walkable like Mount Lebanon, but you don't necessarily want to pay Mount Lebanon prices, then you could go literally right next door to Dormont and Castle Shannon, which both fall under Keystone Oaks School District. So price points in this area, you'll start seeing some good options around the $220,000 mark, all the way up to, I would say, $500,000 is going to be your average price point here. And what's nice is you have sidewalks, you have like boulevards with different shops, not as many as Mount Lebanon, but still that mom and pop shop feel, and then still that quick access to the South Hills Village. People like this area because you have the T-line. It definitely has budget conscious options, and it has that distinct community feel that families absolutely love. One thing about the real estate here is some of them are flips. You have a lot of investors in this area that scoop up properties that need cosmetic work. And a lot of times I'll go in and sometimes you'll see like a quick flips done and it's not as quality, but sometimes it is quality. So you want to just keep that in mind when reviewing properties. Is this a good flip, or did they hurry up and turn it around quick just to get to their next one? And that goes for all areas, but I see it a lot in Dormont just because a lot of investors like this area as the purchase prices have been rising pretty significantly over the past few years. So Keystone Oaks, they call it like a mid-tier district online because it's ranked like a 6 to 7 out of 10. And this is on great schools. It does have a great arts and inclusive program. And I would say what really stands out is it has smaller classes compared to the other districts we spoke of so far. So you do get like more one-on-one time with your teacher. It might be easier to kind of integrate with your classmates better than some larger district that's more well known. They are very active with like their music and theater programs, so if that's something your kids are looking for, this could definitely be a great option. And although it doesn't have maybe the prestige as Mount Lebanon and Upper St. Clair, families are often very satisfied with the commitment, personal attention, and safety of the school. Maybe you're not chasing Ivy League branding, but you want your kids to be known by their first name. This could be a great option. And then say you're okay with going a little further away from the city because your focus might be on new construction, more land, and kind of that semi-rural feel than you might enjoy in the South Hills section, Peters Township, and Cecil. So Cecil is encompassed by Cannon-McMillan School District and Peters Township is Peters School District. Now these two are substantial, but the great thing is, even though they might be as well ranked as Mount Lebanon and Upper St. Clair, the taxes are actually cheaper because you're in Washington County compared to Allegheny. So taxes are significantly lower and you have so many more options for nice land, acreage, and new construction. So you're going to have more of like your custom homes, quiet streets, and a little more car dependent, not too far away from amenities, but maybe around 10 minutes. But there are amenities more in the Peters Township area that you could easily get to, and in Cannonsburg, but I've noticed a lot of the communities might be at least like 5 to 10 minutes away. And say you don't want to be in the South Hills at all, maybe you want to be in the North Hills where things are a little more flatter, spread apart, feel newer, and there's tons of new construction and top rated districts, then these are the few that I would focus on. Number one being the Wexford area. So in specific, like McCandless is going to be a part of North Allegheny School District, and North Allegheny consistently ranks as top in the state. And you're going to find a wide range of real estate options, typically ranging from around $350 to $750. But North Allegheny, it's a large district, keep that in mind. You're going to really have elite programs, facilities, AP classes, and great sports that are very competitive. And prices here are going to be around like $450,000 all the way up to the $1 million mark. And that's also going to encompass like Franklin Park area as well. Now these typically people who live here are going to be families, maybe like executives and people that really are valuing school. You also have North Park nearby, which is the county's largest park. And I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous. We actually cover this area along with others, so I'll link all videos I can below. And if you've heard anything about the North Hills, you've definitely heard of North Allegheny School District. But another one that is nearby, close still in the Wexford area, is going to be Pine Richland and Hampton. Now, these are going to be a bit smaller, but still extremely high rated, and you're going to have a little more land in this area, a little more time for new construction, and even the Allison Park Hampton area, you're going to have older inventory, but like lots of land. You could get more affordable prices than say Franklin Park, and taxes are also on the higher end in this area. So keep that in mind. If you're buying like a $500,000 house, they might be $10,000 to $13,000 in taxes. So it really depends on where you live because the Wexford area is known for higher taxes. But if you go up to Cranberry, which is Seneca Valley School District, still highly rated, not as highly rated as North Allegheny, but this area is going to have way cheaper taxes and it's going to have tons of new construction. But it does have a busier feel with lots of highways, turnpikes, and commuters, so it doesn't really have that family feel compared to the Wexford communities and neighborhoods that I've seen in that area. And another premium district in the North Hills will be Fox Chapel. So this is kind of northeast, and it's really premium. You have a country club in the area, and it's mainly like residential. It's super close to the city, being like 15 minutes, and properties are very extravagant. You're looking at prices from $700,000 to over $1 million, and new construction options, but you're paying a premium for them because of the limited land. It's very like private wooded area with your country club, private estates, gated communities. And it's typically high income professionals who just want that privacy, wooded feel, in great districts. But if you do want the same district and cheaper real estate, you could go for O'Hara Township, Aspinwall, and Sharpsburg, which all encompass this district, but have all different feels to them. More walkability, closer together homes, and more street parking compared to a big private estate. Now, if you want semi-rural, quiet lifestyle, number one, I'm going to tell you to get out of Allegheny County, go to the surrounding counties like Washington, Butler, Westmoreland, and some of my favorite in Westmoreland, since we kind of already covered like Butler being Cranberry and really anything in Butler County, you're going to get more rural and rural as you go. But Washington, I would say the two biggest options are going to be, but for Washington, I would say the two biggest options are going to be Peters and Cecil. And then for the East, great options that are often overlooked but have affordability, quietness, parks, great property prices are going to be number one, North Huntington, number two, Murraysville, and number three, Trafford, Penn Township area. So North Huntington and Norwin School District are highly rated. Properties are a mix of existing and new construction. You have lots of great amenities, but you're not going to have like your Whole Foods and more specialty shops or not even specialty malls as much. It's going to be more like your Target, Starbucks, Giant Eagle, and Aldi, Walmart. It's very convenient, just not as up to date with their amenities as Wexford and as Upper St. Clair and Mount Lebanon. So something to keep in mind, but schools are honestly up there with the ones we spoke of. Along with Murraysville, this is in the east as well. Franklin Regional School District, which is ranked top in the county. Really strong music program, band, and overall sports like soccer, football, all of that's super big there. And property prices are a bit more expensive in Murraysville compared to North Huntington, but these areas you're getting really good tax prices. And Murraysville, you could typically start finding things for like $350 to $750. Nice, quiet communities, beautiful custom properties with a wide range of builders. And it's pretty common to find lots that are like 1 to 4 acres and really beautiful parks. I would just say the quietness of this area, because it's not as populated as the other ones we spoke of, is really its advantage. Along with Penn Trafford, this is super overlooked. It's a little further out than Murraysville, so it's going to be like 45 minutes into the city of Pittsburgh. But school district, super highly rated. Again, good football, good sports, good music and academics, and property prices are very affordable here. Typically, you could start finding things for like $250 all the way up to $600s, but it's going to be a mix of new construction and existing. If you want a new build, but you don't want to pay crazy prices, this is where you should go. And it's really peace, nature, slow lifestyle, and definitely more rural feeling than anything we described. So now that we went through the basics of the areas, here's what really matters, because you're not just choosing an area, you're choosing a lifestyle, a commute, a daily routine, and a long-term value of where you raise your family, along with the community that you'll be now integrated into. So how do you actually decide which one's best? Well, first come down to if you want walkability, you're already very narrowed down. And the next choice really comes down to, do you want elite private schools? Do you want the highest rated, or do you want well-rated school districts? Because this is really going to narrow you down to a few areas each. And of course, I mean, we could always go one-on-one with you and just really narrow this down for you, help you map it out, and give you a full breakthrough of each area based on your specific criteria. So if that's helpful to you, make sure to reach out to us. Our contact information's up here on the screen and always in the description below. We help people move to Pittsburgh, purchase homes, build homes every single day, and we absolutely love it. So reach out to us literally anytime. I am always working. Now we have the walkability, the school rankings. But next, do you want something that's more budget friendly in terms of a house, or do you want something more extravagant and you're okay with paying maybe over $700,000 to $2 million? That's going to narrow it down again, because not all of these areas will encompass properties up to $2 million, but some of them won't encompass properties starting at $250 to $300. So really, your budget has a huge difference on where you will live, along with taxes. If you're okay with paying more for taxes, then it might be worth it to explore some areas like Wexford, Upper St. Clair, Mount Lebanon, but if you want cheaper taxes, it might make sense to go into the outskirts, such as Cranberry, Cecil, or North Huntington. And if you want a more rural feel, then you're definitely going to want to be outside of Allegheny County, so that should narrow it down pretty dramatically. Now it's our turn to pick from north, east, south, and west, which we could do together. Now, I know you're thinking, well, what do these school district rankings even mean? Are they even accurate? So niche.com, greatschools.org, these are all great, but I want you to know that they rely a lot on test scores. So although they are helpful, they don't necessarily always reflect like the teacher quality, diversity in programs, or just like the emotional safety, sports programs, and all of those good things. So just keep that in mind, read some reviews, talk to some locals, and get more insight. Don't take everything you see online word for word. And if you're looking in the city, I always say a lot of my clients like the magnet and private school options better than the city options. And sometimes it's easy to be kind of blinded by an area, say, oh, I want North Allegheny rated top in the state. And I've had clients a lot of times just want to be in North Allegheny. And when I start diving deeper with them and ask them like why, what's important to the kids, what's important to their even just everyday experience in school, and I found out it was more inclusivity, it was more one-on-one time, and even smaller classrooms. That's when I directed them to like Hampton, Pine Richland, or even to check out places that aren't in the North Hills. And they ended up loving the Hampton area. Not only did it have real estate that they wanted, but when they actually sat down and talked with me about the district, they realized that like the programs that they had, the size of the classrooms, the teacher ratings, and still having great sports, academics, and after-curricular activities, they realized that Hampton was actually like the district of their dreams and their kids' dreams, and they go there now, they're thriving, and they are so thankful because North Allegheny, their kids could have felt overwhelmed in, and they were just kind of blinded because that's always top rated in state. So it's really important for you to dive deeper into what's really going to be the best fit for you and your family compared to just relying strictly on ratings. Because I've had people have good and bad experiences in schools, and it's really important to really nail down what's important to your kids. And something to say about amenities is all of these areas are going to have great parks. North Park is probably one of the best parks to be in just because of like the Olympic-sized swimming pool, cafes on the walking trails, and wide range of activities, but it's really not that much better than parks that Murraysville has, Boyce Park. It's not that better than South Park, which is amazing. So if parks are like a huge part of your life, then we could definitely break down like each activity, and you could even just do research on which parks are going to be the best fit. I'm a park person. I love going outdoors and just working out, having fun, walking. But if you're going to be going to the parks literally like every weekend with your kids, then maybe you want to be in the North Hills. And amenities, if like Trader Joe's and Whole Foods are important to you, right off the bat, I'm going to say North or South Hills. Or if you want to live in the city, there is one in the city, but the East and the West do not have these, but they still have great options like Giant Eagle and Aldi. And most of these areas also have kid-friendly bonuses like your libraries, community rec centers, and fun museums in the city are really only about 30 minutes from all of these areas we're mentioning, maybe 45. So what I would say to you is match your district to how you live your life. Prioritize your location and your commute over pretty much everything because that makes a big distinction in your everyday life. If your kids are in sports and clubs, then maybe, and they're like really passionate about it, maybe focus districts based on those factors or whatever they're more into and more involved with. If you work remotely, then maybe find a quiet cul-de-sac where it's a nice dead end where your kids could play without worrying about cars, or a house that has great space for an office that's more private from the kids. That way you're not dealing with noisy kids while you're trying to work. And keep in mind the weekend activities, the amenities nearby, convenience of groceries, and the quality of the parks. And in terms of the house itself, it's really a matter of new construction versus existing, property prices, and taxes. So if you want help one-on-one mapping this all out and for us to actually do the tours with you, give you all of our expertise. My father's also in construction, investing for over 30 years here, so we could actually go way in depth with your inspection report, repair cost, what things are a red flag and what aren't. And we could do everything, whether you're moving remotely or here in person, from beating out multiple people. If you're bidding against them on a house, that is literally our expertise. We just got one accepted. We beat 10 other people out in the Mount Lebanon area. And our clients are moving there because they have a family. So it's a great feeling whenever you get your client into a dream home, especially when the market's so competitive like it has been recently. So if you want more information on like our real estate market, our process, how we could help you nail down that perfect area and perfect home, we are your go-to resource. So make sure to reach out. Description is our contact information, and it's also up here on the screen always. And if you want more information on like Pittsburgh, our real estate market, and what's it truly like living here, you could start by watching our next videos here. And we'll see you in the next one.